I'm going to walk you through how to cut mats using a Logan Simplex Elite Mat Cutter. First, you're going to need an artwork to mat, and I always have my students do this part. They measure the height and the width, and then they add 4 inches to both sides. Then I'm going to use crescent mat board. I always like to use black, and I buy a variety of different sizes because my students work very large. Some of them work smaller. The smaller mat board, of course, is easier to use and cut, but some of them work huge, so large mat board is also something that I purchase. Then, after you add 4 to your measurements, and that is going to give you a 2-inch border on all sides, you're going to cut the mat board to that size. This is going to allow, again, the 2-inch border on both sides, and then you will cut this out using the mat cutter to create a frame. A heavy-duty cutting board is important, and if you're an art teacher and you have one, did you know you can sharpen your blade with aluminum foil? This is the set scale, so I have it set to 2 1/4 because I do need a 1/4 inch overlap, so when I put the frame on the art, there is not a gap or it's not completely flush with the artwork. You can put your set scale on whatever size that you would like. Again, I'm doing a 2-inch border. Take a piece of scrap mat board, so when you cut with the blade, it has a beveled edge and you don't want it to cut through the actual mat board. Then on the opposite side, you're going to use a pencil and you're going to give yourself some guidelines so you know when to stop. And so I'm just going to measure on all 4 sides, making sure that the mat board is flush with the set scale. And this will give me an idea of what my frame will look like. And it's also good to check your measurements at this point. Did you miscut? Is your artwork going to sit inside nice and pretty with a little bit of overhang? This is the mat cutter. So press down like this very carefully. You can cut the crap out of yourself, which I've done many times. The blade is easy to change out. And it's going to slide nice and easy right here. So you're going to line up that silver guide with your pencil line. I always overlap a little bit because I want the frame to come out easy. And then you're going to pull all the way down, and then you're going to stop at the bottom at your pencil line. Then you're going to rotate, and you're going to do this on all 4 sides. And again, I always overcut a little bit because it's okay to have a little extra, and then that way the frame comes out. The worst thing is when you make all your cuts, but you didn't quite press down hard enough or you didn't quite overlap your cuts as much. So do this 4 times, pressing down nice and hard, and this is going to make sure that your cut is even. I could have been standing in a better location, but I didn't want to block the camera view, so I'm kind of doing it, a little bit awkwardly. Last side here, pressing down, going all the way to the silver edge. Then the moment of truth, you're going to see if your mat releases. So lifting my mat here, you can see there's a little bit of a frayed edge, but that's okay. Boom, it popped right out, and I'm going to save that middle for mounting artwork or for smaller frames. Then the next step, and this is the step my students always do, but I'm going to demonstrate here, is take your artwork and then find something sturdy like railroad board, poster board, scrap mat board if you have it. It's pretty expensive, so I like to do something a little bit thinner. And then you're going to cut this and attach the artwork to this surface. This is for a couple reasons, so that you can have that overhang and have the mat attached to the poster board or railroad board instead of the artwork itself. You want it to be matted permanently, but if you want to change out your mat, you want to be able to remove the mat without ripping or tearing the artwork. So step 1, I'm going to use painter's tape to attach it, and this is the temporary solution. So if I ever want to remove it from this mat board or the student wants to change it out, you can simply peel that tape right off and it sticks well enough to tape it, but it won't be permanent. And you'll see what I mean in just a second when I attach the mat. Then I'm not going to measure or anything, but I'm just going to place that so there's an even-ish border. And then I'm going to take my clear packing duct tape and I'm going to flip the artwork over once the frame lines up nice and even the way I want it or my student wants it, because remember, they do this step themselves. And so I'm going to make sure it matches, tape one side first, and if that's accurate, then I'll flip it over, and then I'll tape all 4 sides, focusing on getting all the edges so it's nice and sturdy. So flip it back over, and then I'm going to really make sure that I cover up all edges with this tape. That's the purpose of the mat or the railroad board or poster board, is you can be aggressive with your tape, knowing that it's going to keep it nice and secure in the frame. But if you ever want to remove the frame, change it out, whatever, you can remove it easily without damaging your artwork. I'm going to add tape to all 4 sides, making sure that my artwork is flat and flush. You don't want it wrinkled or warped, making sure that the tape is nice and flat, and then it is ready for an art show. It's ready for competition. And once you get the hang of it, it's super easy and it elevates your high school student artwork. Thank you so much for sticking around and making art with me. And if you're interested in more tutorials, check these out. Find my website, thatartteacher.com, for all of my free lesson plans, student examples, videos, and rubrics, all for free.